Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling. My name is BrendenPlayz, and we are moving along to our lethal lockdown match that we're going to be having at the upcoming Lockdown pay-per-view, one of the big pay-per-views of the year. I guess it's one of the big four of TNA, so we need to start preparing for that, and that is our next plan, and we are going to start putting some of those plans into place in this episode. Now, we've already done an episode of Impact, and we did our first Explosion. We'll take you through it and have a look at the results first of Explosion. 64 overall show, and considering we used mainly our mid-card guys, that's pretty good. So, we had Matt Sydal got a win over Johnny Devine, 62 rated. Now, the thing about this match that I found was that Matt Sydal, 70 performance, and despite only being, I think it's 46 popularity, that's really, really good to get a 70 performance out of him. So that's really good news because Matt Sydal, we brought him in to be a factor in the X Division, and that to me suggests that he definitely can hang with the likes of Low-Key, Daniels, Styles, etc. when we do get into that level. So that's really good news. Simon Diamond victory over Shark Boy. Natty cut a promo. We continue to build along the Austin Aries and R-Truth rivalry. So that didn't exactly go too well. We had Aries come out and challenge R-Truth. Tanahashi got a win over Roderick Strong, and what was a stinker of a match. Now, the reason why people didn't really care for it too much is because we had two jobbers versus each other, so we probably need to adjust their position on the card. We had Team Canada, which is Bobby Roode and Eric Young, beat the Naturals in a pretty good match, 63, not bad. We had Nakamura. We had him come on the show, so we brought him in from developmental to basically get him on the show, get him some more exposure. He basically came out and celebrated his title victory, rated pretty low because of some of the language barriers and also his bad popularity. So that's okay, but you know, we'll improve on that. And our main event, which was a pretty good one, we wanted to start off with a bit of a bang, and also it kind of showcase our mid card in the best possible way, and we did that with Bryan Danielson defeating Kenta one-on-one in a 73 rated match. I think that was Danielson's debut as well, so really good stuff. I mean, that's a good match for our two mid-card guys to get that. No surprise there, two tremendous workers. Danielson got the victory because he's a little bit further along than Kenta. On our Impact, it was an 80 overall show, pretty good, and I'm actually very shocked that we got 80 for this. Now, I wanted to end the Muhammad Hassan and Jeff Hardy rivalry the right way. I wanted to have a bit of a blow-off match and just end it. So I took the risk, and we went with a singles match again, and it main evented the show. So Muhammad Hassan, he beat Jeff Hardy. We let Muhammad Hassan get the win again. He beat Jeff Hardy, 69 grade match. I think that first match might have been 50 or something along those lines. So that's a big improvement. It really is. It's a big improvement. Now, the reason why it went down is not because of their bad chemistry or anything like that. It's because we probably had it a little bit too long. We gave it a bit too many minutes. I think we gave it about 25 minutes for a big main event. We probably should have scaled it back to maybe 18, 20. We might have been able to push a 75, maybe even 80 graded match. So that's good news. So obviously, Jeff Hardy's our number 2 babyface. Muhammad Hassan's our number 1 heel. So those two are going to verse each other a lot in our playthrough. So for them to have a 69 graded match with the potential to go better is very relieving. Some of the other things we had on the show, Jazz got a victory over Cheerleader Melissa, Bryan Danielson got a victory over Jay Lethal, and I believe we had Bobby Roode interfere. Now the plan is now obviously Jay Lethal and Bobby Roode to have a bit of a rivalry, just a bit of an explosion rivalry, a bit of a mid-card rivalry to give them both something to do. Austin Aries got a victory over Marufuji, 73 rated match. That's a good thing. That's really good. Two guys, once again, very similar to the Kenta and Danielson thing, where they're not that popular, very good in the ring though, and they showed that they're 73 rated between two mid-card guys. Excellent stuff. We had Jeff Hardy and Muhammad Hassan have a bit of a promo battle to open things up. That went really well. Our match of the night went to Low-Key and Frankie Kazarian, who Kazarian's performances are really improving. Despite not having the best popularity, his performances are really improving. He's having great matches. An 83 match of Low-Key, who doesn't have the best popularity himself, Low-Key. That's a bit of a bonus. I think they overachieved there. That was really good. AJ Styles came out and challenged Low-Key to a match, and they had a bit of a brawl to go with it. Not the best promo, but that's okay. The plan is now is to have AJ versus Low Key, and obviously Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels versus Samoa Joe for the X Division Championship. I think this may be our first 100 rated segment, but it was Abyss cutting a promo on Christian Cage. 100. So there you go. It does not get any better than that. Best promo so far. Abyss cutting a terrific promo on Christian. 100 rated. So there you go. And I think that really helped just bump our overall rating up a little bit further. So that's really good. R-Truth got a victory over Eric Young. 72 rated match. That's pretty solid as well. Okay, so this is what we're doing. Obviously, Lethal Lockdown is the match that's going to be our headline match alongside probably a steel cage between Christian and Abyss. So, we've got Lethal Lockdown at the Lockdown pay-per-view, which is going to be a 5-on-5. If you haven't seen a Lethal Lockdown match, I would suggest go and check out Lethal Lockdown 2008. You can get that match on YouTube for free. Great quality. I just finished watching that. It was awesome. And a great kind of way to get a bit of an idea of what Lethal Lockdown's all about. Very similar to War Games. It basically is War Games, but then they bring in weapons. So, yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to have Jeff Jarrett on one team. He's the team captain, and Sting on one team. I actually believe they did Sting and Jarrett as a match in 2006. So we had Jeff Jarrett come out and challenge Sting to a match at Lockdown. Now we customized it ourselves, which is why the angle thing, what this says, there's three Jeff Jarretts there, kind of messed up. Obviously I forgot to change one setting there, but anyways, it doesn't matter. So we had Jeff Jarrett challenge Sting to a Lethal Lockdown match. We had Rhino beat Rick Steiner. Not a great match, but Rick Steiner sucks. Let's be honest, he's terrible. We're just having him job out, lose to some of our guys. Rhino needed a win, so we had Rhino dominate Rick Steiner. Then we had Sting come out and ask Rhino if he'll be on his team for Lethal Lockdown, and Rhino accepted that request. So Rhino is on Sting's team. So we now know Sting and Rhino, and obviously Jeff Jarrett on his own at the moment. Billy Gunn beat Hernandez. Not a great match either. We're going to end that rivalry, the New Age Outlaws versus LAX rivalry. We're going to end that. Get rid of it. And yeah, obviously Muhammad Hassan and the Molly Holly Gal Kim promo. So 80 overall show. Happy with that. Our first show of Explosion was pretty good as well. We are up to our next one, and we have a few things to address before we get there, including William Regal. We tried, we made him an offer. Now, we didn't throw the kitchen sink at him because Dixie Carter, just from the get-go, would not let us get anywhere near him. It wouldn't get anywhere near the money that he wanted. I think we could only offer $27,000. I think WWE offered him $31,000. So there was no way we could compete. We just couldn't do it. Tremendous stats. One of the best workers in the game, bar none. He's actually one of the best. So, terrific worker. Still within age, not bad. Good popularity, good stats, but we just couldn't get him. There was no chance that we could have got him. And to be honest, I'm not interested in signing another main eventer unless it's a big name like a Kurt Angle or maybe a Rob Van Dam, something like that. I'm not interested in getting one of those. I'm rather take some of the guys we've got and make them main event guys. We also got a 0.19 rating for Explosion. I think it was 1.95 for Impact. So that's where so our ratings have gone slightly down for Impact. Not too bad though, not dramatically. Our attendance 4,500, so that's fine. What was last attendance? Yeah, so slightly up. Attendance is okay. That one got 6,500. Okay, so that was in the southeast, and these other ones haven't been in the southeast. Whether we're trying to travel around, we're trying to expand, trying to get away from the southeast, trying to go all around the nation. I wouldn't mind going all around the world, but I tried to take a look at how many people we would draw in, for example, Japan, and we would get 200 people for a show, nearly 300. So yeah, we're not doing that anytime soon. We can't get a TV deal either, so it just makes it so hard. But yes, so that's what we've been able to do. Medical update, there's no one to really worry about. We had a few people with some sprains and some minor injuries, but they're coming good. Everything's okay there. So the Lethal Lockdown match, this is our big match that we're going to be building the show around. Obviously, Christian and Abyss will probably main event, and that will most likely be a cage match. Now, we're not going to do what TNA does and have every single match on the show be a cage match, because that's ridiculous. But we will have a Lethal Lockdown match and probably a steel cage main event. So, and maybe we'll even push a tag team title match, steel cage. Maybe. Probably not, but maybe. So, taking a look at potential candidates to be on this 5-on-5 match. Now, obviously Abyss is out of the question, Christian's out of the question, Jeff Jarrett's on one team, Sting's on the other. We now know Rhino's on Sting's team. We've got Scott Steiner, Brother Ray and Brother Devon, so the Steiners and the Dudleys. We're going to have them probably have a match on the pay-per-view, a tag team match, so they're probably out of the question. We just wrapped up Muhammad Hassan and Jeff Hardy's feud, so that's done. But we probably will still put them in this match because they've got nothing else to do. And this is a good way to kind of fill in a month without having to kind of start something new. And also, it's a big match as well. They're still on a huge match of the show. And obviously, great star power they've got there. And Muhammad Hassan nearly up to that 80 mark, 78, really doing well. Muhammad Hassan has been impressing me every single week. I'm really impressed with what he's been able to accomplish. So, probably Muhammad Hassan will be on Jarrett's team to be his number 2. Jeff Hardy probably on Sting's team to be his number, probably his number 2. Rhino number 3, I guess you could say. The other thing we could do is put Raven on there. So Raven obviously has dipped down. He's being a main eventer would be generous at this point. He's more of an upper mid carder, so we're going to drop him down. Now Raven, I'm so annoyed at Raven right now. I'm getting close to wanting to release him. Every single week he comes up drunk. The only thing that keeps me wanting him is his microphone ability is some of the best in the game. You cannot get much better than Raven. So at worst comes to worst, he would make a terrific manager. So maybe create Raven's stable again and have him just be the main manager of it would probably be more beneficial than just releasing the guy. So yes, more than likely he's going to be losing most of his matches, but we could include him in this match. He'll probably be drunk, so he may drag it down. If we do include Raven, then we will include Sabu. So Sabu, pretty good as well, 65. We know Raven and Sabu have been feuding with Test, who is going well, and A-Train. So I think A-Train might actually be in the main event now. So yeah, so he's up here, so he's going really well. So that's where we're at there. So that would make Team Sting, Jeff Hardy, Rhino, Raven, and Sabu versus Jeff Jarrett, Muhammad Hassan, Test, and A-Train. So far, so good. Now, the reason why you might be thinking, well, why don't you put Samoa Joe in there, maybe Daniels? Well, like we said earlier, the plan is AJ versus Low Key, and we're going to do Daniels and Samoa Joe. We're going to keep them away from this match. I think having those two matches on the show will just make it that much bigger. Because some people see, obviously Lockdown is one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. So we want to go all out. We want to have some good matches on there. So I think that would enhance it. And obviously, if we had, if we put Samoa Joe and Daniels in there, for example, it leaves us with a big gap on the rest of the card because we're putting 10 guys, 10 of our best in one match. So it's going to leave a lot of room for the rest of the card and going to probably make it suffer at somewhat. So having Joe, or having our X Division 4, I guess you could say, available will be a much better idea. And that's probably really it. There's not a lot of other choices, so we need one more to go on Jeff Jarrett's team. And as you can see, there really isn't many choices. I mean, James Storm and Chris Harris, they're a tag team. We're going to probably be feuding them now with the New Age Outlaws. That's our next rivalry we've got planned for them. So they're all busy. Petey Williams, probably lucky to be an upper mid-card at this point. Yeah, he's going to drop down. We probably need to adjust a lot of people. So he's dropped down, so forget about him. Rick Steiner, he's busy. So everyone's busy. There's no one. So if we have to look to our mid-card, and that's going to severely hurt the match, calling upon one of our mid-carders. Now, I mean, we could use a Danielson, we could use a Bobby Roode, and we know how good they are. Now, out of our mid-card guys, Truth probably should go up a bit, shouldn't he? Oh yeah, and he still says he's a mid-carder. I think he's an upper mid-carder, so I'm going to put him up to upper mid. But anyways, Yeah, so probably the best option out of these guys, it obviously has to be heel, would be Homicide. To have him as the 5th man, but that just doesn't sit well with me. I mean, Homicide is great, don't get me wrong, really good worker, but I just feel like we need someone better than that. We could go down to our developmental, and we could bring in Monty Brown, who his work hasn't been tremendous. Some of his matches have been okay. There's nothing wrong with what he's produced. He's having decent matches with some really low-end guys, but he hasn't been anything special, I guess you could say. So that's where I'm a little concerned, but has good popularity. He does have the good popularity, and there really is no one else that we could probably bring in. I mean, Matt Morgan, but I don't think he's ready yet either. Maybe he's a better worker than Monty Brown by the looks of it. He's in ring work, maybe a little bit better. So, yeah, but doesn't quite have the popularity. So, yeah, our hands are kind of tied. Now, it would be great if we could sign someone different, someone new, bring them in for this match. And I think that's the thing, it'd be great if we could just get someone in for a one-shot deal. Scott Hall, he would be good. Would break one of our owner goals if we did it. And would also probably end up being drunk in the match, so maybe not the best idea. Just trying to look at someone else that could do the match, that will actually want to do the match. Kevin Thorne, I'm just sidetracking for a second. Kevin Thorne may be someone we could think about bringing in. Not a bad worker at all, and obviously James Mitchell with him and Abyss could be a nice little thing there with James Mitchell. Go with that type of, that crew of those goth type of characters together. May not be a bad idea. Let me know what you think of that. But going back to this, I mean, there's just really no one we could bring in. I mean, it'd be terrific if we can bring in Hulk Hogan, but that's not going to happen. We can't do it. It'd be great if we can bring in Chris Jericho. Not going to happen. I'm secretly hoping when I click negotiate, that it's actually going to let me do it, but it's not. So it's slowly breaking my heart every time I try and click and attempt it. So many of these guys I would love to bring in, but we just can't. So yeah, I don't know. This, Rikishi, I mean, he's still active and he's still, he's an occasional wrestler at the moment. Let's have a look at some of his matches. I mean, it's hard to say because he actually hasn't even had a match. So I don't know. So his work, I mean, he looks okay. Not the best in the world, but it couldn't be too bad. He probably would put on maybe a 65-70 performance. Good popularity. I think he plays a heel pretty good. So let's take a look. Yeah, he does. So he plays a heel pretty good. Babyface a little bit better, but a heel pretty good. Okay, so Rikishi may be our option. So can we bring him in? Yeah, we could. We could bring him in, and we could just bring him in for 1 month or something. Unless we wanted to bring, if he does so well, maybe we'll think about bringing him in for a little bit of a run. But because he's 40, we don't want to necessarily push him or anything like that. But I mean, he's an option. He's probably our only option at this point. Everyone else is a bit too old or not enough popularity to really warrant bringing in. The other thing as well, Jerry Lawler, his contract is up for the WWE, so he's an option that we could bring in as a commentator. Very strong commentary, which I think is probably around the 80 to 90 mark at least. 80 to 90 color commentary, which is good. Great microphone ability, still decent in the ring despite, super old. But he obviously wants a truckload of money. 15,000. We'd probably have to give him 20 grand to probably bring him in. So I don't know if that's really worth doing that for a color commentator. I mean, I like Don West though. I do like Don West. To be honest, I'm actually a huge fan of Don West's commentary. And Jerry Lawler, he's a WWE guy, so bringing him in wouldn't be right. But anyways, some food for thought. We'll leave it at that. We'll have a bit of a think. We'll have to try and find out who we can bring in to kind of fix our issues. But for now, we'll quickly go ahead and book our next explosion and our Impact show. We had Fallen Angel working okay with Sheila and Melissa. That's good. So passing on some tips. So we'll go ahead and book our shows and I'll show you the results. Okay, so we have our second ever explosion all ready to go. So let's run the show. Let's see how we went. So first up, the pre-show, Molly Holly, Miss Tessmacher. Not a great performance by Miss Tessmacher at all, but we know that. We know she's not really a wrestler, so to say, yet. She's still improving. She's still getting there. So not a great performance, but Molly Holly's looking pretty good, so that's fine. Yeah, and we had a little angle after that as well where Miss Testmarker refused to shake the hand of Molly Holly. So we had Roderick Strong and Kenta have a match, pretty good. 72 from Kenta, 66 from Roderick. And we did that because we wanted Kenta to get a bit of a win, give him some momentum, so we did that. Now we got Biff Busick as aka Only Lorcan these days. We brought him in on a one night only deal, and he lost to Alex Shelley, so we needed to get Alex Shelley a bit of a win. And Alex Shelley, wow, 80 performance from Alex Shelley, only 55 popularity. Okay. Alright, I'm going to have to start treating Alex Shelley with a bit more respect. Alright, okay, so this man, well, we know he's good. I already knew he's good, but he's... Wow, that was really good. So, okay. Homicide Matt Sydal, 66 match. Not a bad way to start things off. Matt Sydal not as good as he was last week. Yeah, he seemed off his game. It certainly seemed that way. Samoa Joe, we had him cut a promo on Fallen Angel because we didn't quite fit that in last week, so I think we're going to use Explosion, not necessarily to showcase our top guys, but in terms of matches, but definitely in promos and things like that. So good promo from Joe. We had Alex Skipper and Sabu have a match, 62 rated. Skipper needs a bit of a change in gimmick. Sabu 67 performance. So I'm just kind of getting a bit of a gauge of where Sabu's at, but we're going to use him in a lethal lockdown. Not bad. And also to give him some wins and some momentum. Jay Lethal cut a promo on Bobby Roode. And we had Jeff Jarrett approaching Test to join his team. So as we said, we want Test and A-Train to be on Team Jarrett. So now, in terms of what we've seen on the TV, on the storylines, we know Sting and Rhino's a team, Jeff Jarrett and now Test are a team. So he's joined up as well. So... And in our main event, we had Eric Young versus Jay Lethal. Obviously, Eric Young is the tag team partner of Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode's been feuding with Jay Lethal, so made sense to do that, and not a bad match. 61. Not impressive, I guess, from both guys. Not bad. But we had Jay Lethal get a win by Bobby Roode accidentally hitting Eric Young, but we also tried to keep Eric Young strong, so we didn't want to affect him too much because there is a bit of a popularity difference between the two. Overall, 66 rated show, and that's probably where we're going to be at long term, in that 60 mark for our minors show, and that's fine. The minors shows don't necessarily matter in terms of what you get, as long as you're satisfying your network. That's all it really matters. By the way, I forgot to mention who are our announcers for the minors show. So this is who we got for the events: Tanae West and Jim Cornette. Now I like to do a different announce team, or thereabouts a different announce team for every show. Unfortunately, we don't have many announcers, and looking around, there's not many announcers that we can sign. So I did obviously create a user character, and you guys know me, I do commentary, but I'm not saying I'm very good at it. So I decided to make use of my own user character instead of having it just sit there. So this is our Impact team, just Western today. So I'm going to have myself, my own user character, which I set myself at 55 announcing, which is C-, so very average. But I actually went up one, didn't I? I went up to 56, so hooray, I'm getting better at announcing in the game. So I figured, why not? It's not realistic, but there is no other announcers, and I don't really want to sign anyone else. So let's make my user character something. So I'm in TNA. So now I'm in the announcer for TNA, doing the minors show. My announcing sucks, but the plan is obviously to try and build myself into a good announcer. And we have James Mitchell on color commentary, who actually, I believe, I looked up his stats, is something I think he's got like 80 color commentary. So why not use him? We've got him under contract. We've got him as a manager. Well, why not use him that little bit more and have a bit of variety on the commentary team as well? So that's that. Now, we may change myself. If we can hire a better announcer, obviously we will. But for now, I put myself on there. And why not? Bit of fun for me. Okay, so we have the show all ready to go. Let's check it out. So first up, wow! Sanjay Dutt and Bryan Danielson, 78 rated match on a pre-show. Wow, look at these two. Really good stuff. Okay. That's a lot better than I expected. We had a tag team match with their women. This is something I want to do more of, more tag matches. That way we can get more of our women involved. So let's take a look. Molly Holly has a strong connection with the young female demographic who really liked her winning. Wow, okay. That's cool. So she had a good performance of 63. And you've got to remember the women are generally a lot lower than everyone else, so this is okay. So that was not a bad match for our women. And you can see they're improving a bit. So that's interesting. I've never seen that before with Molly Holly. So, okay, we'll go with that. That's cool. Wow, okay, great tag match to open things up. So obviously the plan is to do America's Most Wanted versus the New Age Outlaws. So we did the match, and the New Age Outlaws won by DQ. You know, basically, the way I wanted it to be was Jim Cornette, the manager, interferes and attacks the New Age Outlaws, causing him to lose because they were on the ropes. You know, they were going to getting close to losing, so Jim Cornette interfered to make sure that they won. That's how I wanted to do it anyways. And I can't believe Chris Harris, out of all people, was the best in the match. So there you go, Chris Harris, you did well. Great match, 86. So when we do that rivalry in that match at the next pay-per-view, that's gonna be really good. And we're only just kicking that rivalry off, really. So yeah, it just started. So a non-rivalry match, 86. Wow, okay. So then we did a segment afterwards, and after the match, they had a bit of a stare down and talking some trash to each other, and basically setting up for our next matchup. We had Sting and Rhino cutting a promo with Jeff Jarrett and Test, because obviously now we know that Sting and Rhino together, Jeff Jarrett and Test, they're on board as well for each other's teams. We then had Rhino versus Test one-on-one. Not a long match, we just gave it 14 minutes, because we have a lot of good matches on this show, to be fair. So we did the match, Test seemed a little bit off, and not a great performance from both guys, but 70 overall, that's fine. And yeah, not much else to really see there. And then afterwards, we had Raven basically say that he's going to be joining Team Sting, because after the match we had Rhino beat down Test. Jeff Jarrett tried to come out for the save, but out came Raven to stop Jeff Jarrett and basically putting Raven in the mix. So he'll be joining Team Sting. So now we know 3 members of Team Sting, 2 members of Team Jarrett on the TV. So there you go. So that's that. And that kind of advances that a little bit more. And Raven needs something positive. He's been losing quite a lot. So this is a nice little thing for him, despite the fact he doesn't really deserve it. Why did he have such a terrible promo, though? Wow. 53. What happened? What the hell happened? His use of hard drugs, oh my god, affected his performance. God damn it, Raven. I mean, we can't even use him to cut promos now. What good is he? We had Scott Steiner and brother Devon one-on-one. Obviously, now we know Steiner's versus the Dudleys, or Team 3D. That's set in stone. So we did the match. Typically, brother Devon doesn't have great singles matches, but we tried it again anyways. It's also a way to kind of fill in another week. Steiner clearly does better in tag matches. His performances are far better in tag matches compared to singles. So not a bad match, 71, that's fine, but not anything special either. We had Molly Holly and Gail Kim do a bit of a segment. This actually did a lot better than usual. We do need to change the name of the rivalry. We've still got it down as Gail Kim and Christy Hemming. We do need to change that. We will, eventually, if I can remember. But so what we did was we had basically Molly Holly, the wrestler, and Gail Kim, the hot-looking chick, and Gail Kim got the upset surprise win. I don't know, it's just a little goofy diva segment that I found that I thought might work well. And it did, 69, that's fine. We had Austin Aries against Biff Busick, so we might as well use him again. Not a good match at all, but it is another win for Aries, and more victories for Aries. The slower, it's gonna be a slow process, but eventually he'll get to the point where he's valuable, and he won't be putting on these average performances. We had a contract signing between Fallen Angel, Samoa Joe. So that X Division contract has been signed, it's done, and it's in the books. Expect that at Lockdown. Jim Cornette obviously involved there, who is our authority figure. I guess he's our unofficial GM. Maybe he's our GM, commissioner, whatever you want to call him. He's in charge, and well, at least he does these types of things. So that's booked in. Wow, look at this main event. So we had Christian and A-Train as our main event. I thought this was just going to be an average, okay main event. Something we did to kind of get Christian involved and have hopefully a good match, but 87, Christian and A-Train. Where did that come from? Wow, okay, so A-Train 74, Christian 88. Well, we know Christian's the man. That's a big win, a big match. We had, I think, James Mitchell on color commentary to kind of advance the Abyss storyline. So that's why that advanced. So that involvement really helped out. So 87, and afterwards we had Abyss trying to ambush Christian with a steel chair, but Christian reversed the attack, instead used the chair on Abyss to lay him out instead. That got a 90 rating. So this show's actually turned out to be pretty good. We had a good start and a really strong finish. What did we get overall? 86. So I'm really happy with that. That's good. That's one of our better impacts. So that's a good show. Top to bottom, pretty impressive. We had a couple little mishaps, but that's expected. But overall, pretty good with a great opening match, an 86 rated match, 87 rated mate. I can't believe A-Train produced an 87 match. Wow, okay. I mean, maybe we need to, lock in A-Train. Maybe we need to give him a bit more respect and treat him more like a star, because that was a great match. If we could do that as a rivalry, A-Train and Christian as a feud, if we could keep producing those matches, why not? Okay, so a couple of things. Some of the developmental guys we got have joined up. We've also got Brody Lee, aka Luke Harper. So we got him in. We got a 2.06 rating. That may be our best rating to date. So that's a big jump from what we did last week. So there you go. So we had a 2.06. Last week we got a 1.95. So how many actual viewers is that? So 1.547 million viewers. Last week we got 1.469. So nearly 100,000 extra viewers. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. Just looking at our stats, that is our best rated TV. So, and not quite equal best, I think, with our best actual show. So that's awesome. So we really went well with that show. A good main event, turned out to be terrific. A-Train, wow, I can't believe he did so well. He's really doing well. He's on fire. Christian is killing it. And Christian's popularity, you can see, bumping up again, starting to get towards that 83 mark in a few different areas. So that's very, very positive as well. Excellent stuff. Really, really happy with that. What about Road Dogg and Billy Gunn? They had a terrific match. Sometimes a good match can increase. I think that did. Went up to 65. So often, if you have a really good match, your popularity can increase just that little bit. James Storm seems to be the same. Chris Harris seems to be saying that's good. They did lose, so that's expected. Road Dogg, yeah, not bad. He's jumped to that 64, maybe in a couple areas of 65, so that's okay as well. So we need to kind of get them a little bit up. Our tag division, realistically, we've got the Steiners, Team 3D, America's Most Wanted. If we can get the New Age Outlaws to that same level, we're going to have 4 teams around that 70 mark. That's pretty strong for our tag division. You count Fallen Angel and Kazarian, who with no doubt will be there, especially Kazarian. He's a work in progress, but he'll get there. That's nearly that'll be 5 teams that are really, really popular and can work. I mean, the Steiners not so much, but that's very positive. I'm actually very thrilled about that. Really, really happy. Overall, we had a great show, and most things went pretty well. I'm very surprised. I'm actually really surprised we did that well. But that's terrific news. As you can hear in my voice, I'm very, very excited about that. Now we are getting very close towards the end of the month, so we might quickly go ahead. I know we're running a little bit long here. We might quickly go ahead and we'll check out the end of the month, and we'll see what kind of happens towards the end of the month, because some things often do happen towards the end, and we'll check that out. But I cannot believe A-Train and Christian, so good. That's on the level of our X Division guys. I was thinking, can our main event stars get on that level? Obviously Jeff Jarrett probably can, Sting probably can, and Christian, but the other guys we've got coming up underneath them, Jeff Hardy, Hassan, Test, A-Train now, Rhino, can they get that 80 to 90 rated matches? And I'm starting to feel like they can, which is very promising and very, very good to know, because it is concerning, because you want to have the best wrestlers, but you also want to have the star power as well. And some of the best wrestlers don't have the star power, especially some of the X Division guys. So that's why you need that mix, and that's why someone like Test, who has that star quality about him, that's why you do push him, because he does have that star quality despite not having exactly the wrestling skill. But if you can get him to the point where he's a decent wrestler, same with Hassan, then you can produce some really good stuff with someone like, you know, a Daniels or whoever. Okay, so we're on Sunday, so it's stopped us here because we need to have negotiations with James Mitchell. So we're going to lock James Mitchell in. His contract actually expired, but we've got him back in, so $6,000 a month for the next 4 years. So we've locked him in long term, and why not? He deserves it. So we'll just quickly advance one more day before we check everything else, just to check it all in one sitting. So we've got James Mitchell, long term. Obviously, our manager for Abyss does good work there. And now using him more on a color commentator aspect, I think is a good idea, especially because he does have pretty good color commentary. And, you know, yeah, like I said, I've got my own user character as the announcer, and James Mitchell can kind of carry us there. Okay, so All Japan has offered Lesnar a deal. We don't know what that deal is. Hopefully just a touring deal. So our TV deal is now over with Bravo UK, and all the other deals as well are now done. All Japan has offered a contract to Samoa Joe. What have they offered him? Okay, just a tour, $2,500 for the tour. We don't actually have Samoa Joe locked in. That's the scary thing. The reason why is because our Ring of Honor alliance kind of prohibits that. But I think we probably should end that alliance, because it really doesn't offer us anything, because we already have everyone who we should need to get from Ring of Honor. They've got no one locked into written deals, so being paired up with them doesn't really offer us much. Heidenreich's contract is expiring. I don't know yet. WWE are going to offer him another deal, so they're giving him 3 more years. Heidenreich, I tell you what, Heidenreich, I've been watching 2005 WWE. He sucks. He is terrible. Heidenreich, you are not joining TNA, my friend. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, we are a couple of weeks away now until lockdown. We're getting things on track. We're starting to really have some good matches, and I really believe our lockdown pay-per-view is going to be one of our best of the year. I think if we can execute this lethal lockdown match into a good one, our Abyss and Christian main event, I think is going to be off the chain. I think this is going to be real good. And our tag matches are doing so well, plus the 2 X Division matches. Wow. So I'm excited to bring that to you. We're not too far away from that, so perhaps the next time we get to you will be we'll be right up to the lockdown pay-per-view. But thank you very much again for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave a like on it for me, and I'll see you next episode.